Hi, I'm Rachel, and this is my MockReads TBR for 2023 releases in YA science fiction and fantasy. So the MockReads Awards is something I kind of created a couple of years ago when the Goodreads Choice Awards decided to do away with its first round, which was a write-in round. The Goodreads Choice Awards is a popularity contest about the year's most popular releases, and I guess they figured the write-in section wasn't all that useful to their purposes on its own, that most people were gravitating toward the same popular books. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not someone who reads a lot of front list, and I'm not always someone who reads a lot of the popular books. So I liked that first round to be able to sort of, represent what I'd been reading, and now that is gone. But I figured I still wanted the incentive to read some intriguing front lists, so that I decided then to do my own thing, a MockReads Awards, where I've chosen a handful of books in various genres that catch my fancy, and my goal throughout this year has been to ultimately read all those books so that in October I can write a blog post and, actually rank them and do, the awardee sort of thing. So this is my final video. I've been making videos about adult genres all year. I'll link those videos down below, and I have been slowly but surely making my way through all the books so that I can, be ready for October. And now I have 3 more to share with you. So the first book I've already read, it's The Library of Broken Worlds by Ayala Johnson. This is actually one of the books that I read at the end of August and / mostly in September that made all of my literary newsletters and my last time reading video pretty late. Just doing a lot of epic fantasy reading, and this was a very epic fantasy book, although it really has a lot of futuristic science fiction to it as well. It takes place sometime in the far future after humans have started colonizing other star systems, although there is also a human presence remaining in the Sol system. And it primarily takes place in this library in outer space. And the library is a place for these different cultures to convene with material gods. It's more like an archive where they assess history and culture, and the librarians are able to sort of interface with these material gods, as they're called. And our primary character is this AI system who was created for mysterious purposes. And the AI system really represents as a girl whose name is Freda, and in fact is raised as an adopted daughter of the head librarian, much to the consternation of the head librarian's rival. But she sees herself as a girl, and she wants to become a librarian, and she's going through some trials when she meets up with a couple of people from oppressed minority groups. And one in particular is victimized, a Tyran or an Earthen who is victimized by another group's war ritual, which they feel entitled to due to their own history. The war ritual actually kills some of this secondary character's, people. It's just part of the ritual. It's actual war. And he is looking for Freda's help, but sometimes the library is kind of there to enforce the status quo. But she, in her interactions with these oppressed minority people, first him and then another character, she's kind of learning her true nature and her purpose. And also, there is a framing device to this story that every chapter begins in the future, where Freda is telling this story piecemeal to a material god she has been sent to kill. So there's a lot of moving pieces to it. In terms of YA, it's more esoteric and ethereal, but I think it kind of works against it. What I took out of this book is Johnson had a lot of fascinating ideas and obviously wanted to talk about the complexities of persecution and how societies build up to be oppressive against one another, and just some amazing you know, creative world building at play, but I felt like, you know, it was a lot of ideas and a lot of distanced rhetoric, and the cultures themselves weren't too specific, so it was hard to actually get invested in them, and the characters also were sort of more philosophical than explored. So I think, like a lot of other readers, I had a little trouble with the execution of this book, which is a shame because it really is probably one of the more unique books out there, especially in terms of like YA and speculative fiction. And I will be leaving my review and more information down below. The second two books I have yet to read. I'll talk about the one that came out last month at the very end of August. It is A Multitude of Dreams by Rutherford. And also with these next two books, I am officially moving into Jewish fantasy. I'm very excited about that. This one takes place in a secondary world. I believe the language is supposed to be really lush. It's about a woman, I think, who was imprisoned in a castle, and the woman is actually Jewish, or the young girl. I haven't. I've decided not to look too much into specifics, just kind of to give my raw thoughts. So, like I did some background, you know, in the past. But my understanding is that this female character is not only coded Jewish in this secondary world, but is actually Jewish, almost like it's a portal fantasy. And maybe it is, although I was skimming some Goodreads reviews, and I think in general there were some people with complaints about, you know, why is this character just overtly Jewish in a world that is not our own. And other aspects of this story, I think there might be a vampiric aspect, and some professional reviews I think really do cavil a bit about the writing chops of it, so I'm very curious. And this final book is also a book that takes place in a secondary fantasy world, but it's more Jewish-coded characters who aren't overtly Jewish. It is This Dark Descent by Kalyn Josephson. It comes out this Tuesday. I'm getting this video in right under the line for a buzzy new release. And my understanding of this is that it's another sort of lush world building setup that, you know, if you're a fan of world building, you might like it. I do like a lot of detailed world building, and it deals with magic horse racers. I think some of the magic has to do with creating golems, but otherwise I guess the characters aren't too coded Jewish, or overtly coded Jewish, I should say. And I think these two female characters from magic families are perhaps taken advantage of, or come under the watchful eye of a couple of other characters who are trying to use them to gain control of their world or their society. That's what I get out of this book. I've been very intrigued. I know this author for her middle grade that my niece has been interested in, I believe, but this is her first foray into YA, and it's so Jewish in tone. At least I'm very much hoping it is, and I'm hoping I can get my hands on it sometime in October, even though it's going to be very, very new. And yeah, I am looking forward to reading it and seeing what I think of it. I gotta say, in general, I'm just so excited about the proliferation of Jewish fantasy, and secondary worlds is a fun way to be especially creative with the history and the culture. I'm not sure what I will think about a character who is overtly Jewish in that space, but I might be more okay with it because I'm, you know, obviously particularly interested in these books for their Jewish themes. So I'll have to see what I make of it all, and I think I'm starting to repeat myself, much like I do with the themes in these books. And with that, I guess I will let you go. I would love to hear your thoughts on these books or other books you've read in YA science fiction and fantasy this year that have caught your fancy, or any books at all that have caught your fancy lately. I should be back on this channel in the next couple of days with my monthly Author's Answer video, so stay tuned for that. I'll have some exciting announcements there as well. And in the meantime, thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next time.